And we are live. Yay. I would love to introduce the wonderful Kym Phillips. Kym, how are you today?
I'm excellent. Thank you, Karen. It's a wonderful Wednesday.
I love the way you do that. It is my pleasure to have you here, Kym, and to be talking again with you, because the last time we had this interview, it didn't turn out quite as well as we wanted it because we had some challenges. So this time, and you've done a lot since then as well. Amazing, amazing woman you are. This time, I'm going to say that you are described, Kym is described as as I put in the promotional work, a counsellor to her clients, the moving angel, a change maker, a decluttering superstar, a packing ninja. She's a wife to Brett and a mum to Georgia and a cherished daughter to her parents and a beautiful friend to many. Kym and I have also become friends, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful development of this friendship that we've had over a relatively short time. So, Kym, we're having this again today for you to share some more of your gold nuggets and your experience in building your business, writing this book that you're just launching, and what you're doing, what else you're doing around these talks and presentations, and some of your goals and aspirations and passion around where you're going.
Thank you, Karen. That's a beautiful intro. I was thinking, oh, who is that person? Oh, that's me. Yes, it's a very exciting time. I feel that when you have your vision and you plan, and then you make all your goals and dreams become a reality. It feels surreal still, really, that I am the published author of this book. I had some help. Obviously, it takes a team to raise a village, they say, but it takes a team to make so many things happen. No iron team. And it's been an amazing experience. And my thank you book launch tour is going very well. And as I said to you earlier, that it all started for me 52 years ago in a little country town called Wangaratta. And I would be one of the most unlikely people to start a business or ever write a book. I mean, I left school at 15 to live my dream back then, to be a hairdresser. And I never regret that decision. I'm so grateful that my parents supported me when my teachers said that they were crazy letting me leave school at 15 with minimal education. But I have definitely grown and learnt and evolved over my years of my time working with many great role models and mentors in my life, and have wisdom and knowledge. And I have just learnt so much, and those experiences are priceless. So with the book, why I wanted to do that is I wanted to go around to the communities that have helped shape me and do a thank you give back and support a charity in those areas that are close to my heart. So the Wangaratta one was with Big Brother, Big Sister program, which is for young people that don't get a wonderful start like me. I still have a wonderful life that I'm grateful for, and some young people don't get that. So this Big Brother, Big Sister program, my husband was actually instrumental in its original starting, and then it was delayed for some time, and now it's back going again, which is good. And the Sunshine Coast one was for DV Safe Phone. If any of you know about DV Safe Phone, another amazing charity supporting people, women and children mostly affected by domestic violence. I have been through physical, verbal and financial domestic violence issues in past relationships when I was young, very naive, didn't really know what was, even though my parents are great role models and mentors and taught me about great respectful relationships, I think you can just get into a path where you think, that's not very good. So the Brisbane one is supporting the forgotten women, and they are for women affected by homelessness over 50, which is really sad. When you think in your 50s, you really should be a part of your, I know for me, when I turned 50, it was a huge pinnacle moment and really got into some more of the peak of my life. So I'm supporting them, because I have a lovely story to share from someone I know, and I won't go into all that now because that'll spoil tomorrow night as part of my talk. And the Gold Coast one is supporting the amazing facility at the Gold Coast Hospital for miscarriage. So we have experienced it ourselves, and I won't go into all that now. I will release a podcast that I did with an amazing company to share my story, which was invigorating for me and life-changing as well. So that's why I've picked particular charities and locations, and there will be a Melbourne one and a couple others to come, but they will be in the new year now.
That is what I mean. As I said, what you're doing is amazing. Now we do have some people on live. We've got Edward Zia. Hi, Edward. Thank you very much. And he said he's shared as well. And we've got Sumiko on here, and she said hi, ladies. So
hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, so that's great. Now, Kym, you are working your way around different parts of Australia, like you say, and doing these book launches. And also tell me a bit more about the talks and presentations that you want to do and that you're doing to people, to who, what group of people are you addressing, and what difference do you want to make by doing those talks?
I've really been wanting to reach out mostly to women, but men too. But men and women are very different, as we know. So some of my talks have been to, in particular, like groups of real estate agents, that because we all at times we think we're the only one going through all these experiences, and as they say, everyone's got a story and got a book in them as such. But it's to reach out to people and let them know they're not alone. Like, I've been through some really tough stuff in my life, and it's not that at time it hasn't really challenged. It's really challenged me, and I thought of giving up. But there was just things that at times the universe sends you, unfortunately, and at the time you might think, oh, why is this happening to me? And you question, have your pity party. But actually, when you think logically around it, it's all meant to happen. The universe, has an amazing way of, working it out for us as well. You need to take action too, as I always say. But it's to share my story to people, to tell them one of the biggest things is to have self-belief in yourself and your ability, and then connect with the right people. And if that's not your parents, then there's other amazing role models, mentors or coaches that can help you. And don't let your past define your future. I'm not saying I had a terrible past. I mean, like I keep saying, I've had an amazing upbringing. I still have a wonderful life. But it's just to let people know that sometimes in society we can think, oh, that all looks great and that people all have these perfect worlds. But there are challenges, as we know, as human beings. And if we share our story, if I can just help one person with this book and sharing my story as part of my talks or an interview with you, or like I did with the ABC radio, if I change one person's life by saying, being real and authentic, well, I just think that's so powerful. And I think we should do it more as human beings, to share our stories and our journeys.
I love what you're doing. So you talked about 52 years ago when it started, and that you were the most unlikely person to have their own business and or to write a book. So I want to ask you, when you started doing all this and you made a decision, for example, to write a book or to do these launches, what were your thoughts? Did you know how you were going to do it and have it all worked out?
No. Yeah, and actually in my early years, as I probably have said to you before, we do think a lot, oh, how am I going to, people say, how are you going to do that? But I think the less that you think about the how, and, surround yourself with the right people, and then do, like every day there's things that I don't have the answers, I don't know how to do, but we don't need them all today, as you would know in your area of expertise, Karen, that you don't need to. We need to keep encouraging and communicating that to people. They don't need all the answers today. So probably at least about 12 years ago, I stopped thinking a lot about the how to and started doing more and taking action and surrounding myself with the right people. And that's where the moving angel has really found her wings to fly. And, I keep going back to the team, but that's your team at work or home or whatever that is good for you. So it's been an interesting one, because my industry, I've been looking for the change in my industry for at least 3 decades and couldn't find it. So that's one of the reasons to create my business. And I had an epiphany when I walked the Kokoda track 10 years ago. So in September 10 years ago, I walked the Kokoda track with my dad for Father's Day in honour of his dad that was in the war, and we went on that together. Now, after not long, maybe 2 or 3 days on that track, I said, I'm going to do Moving Made Easy. I'm going to eventually write a book, and I'm going to do this tour, and I'm going to thank people for helping me become the person I am, and I'm going to give back to communities and charities that I think that are very close to my heart because it's more meaningful to me. And so all my launches are on a Thursday. That's not just by accident. That is because I love a Thankful Thursday, and it's nice to say thank you. They're 2 small, very words, and so it's, there's been so many things along the way. I mean, I remember working in the corporate world doing, lots of high-end, starting in the registry basically and working my way up to be a team leader in the removals industry, and thinking there's got to be a better way to help people move. There needs to be more advice, there needs to be more compassion, there needs to be more empathy. And there are companies out there that do similar things to me, but I feel that mine is very unique. And with this book then being a step-by-step guide and a resource and top tips and a one of its kind in the industry, I feel that it is going to be life-changing. And it already is. Look, last week a lady read it in an afternoon, and then she messaged me and she said, we need to talk quickly. So now she has booked her move for next month with me.
Wow.
And she was going to read the book and go solo, and then she went, no, I can't.
Wow. So I want to talk to some of those points. I just want to say hello. Moana Robinson has come on, and she said she's watching us. So great to have you all here. So let's go back to, was it a Thursday that you were walking the track that you came up with that idea, that you had that epiphany? I'd love to know if it was a Thursday.
That I don't know for sure, Karen. So we started walking. I planned the whole trip around being on the track with Dad on Father's Day, so we could have that special time. So we started on a Sunday. So 2 or 3 nights in, maybe close. But I can't say for sure.
It could have been a Thursday here because you're 24 hours behind over there. So there you go. Anyway, the reason that what I wanted to just recap on was, you said that you're walking with your dad and you were in a place where what we call maybe a time that we call the land of the solution, time and place where you actually were able to think. And then what happened was you got that vision. You got a vision of what you wanted to do. And then you said, I'm going to do this. You made a commitment. You said, and you voiced it. So all these different energetic situations happened because it all starts with that vision, that clear, defined destination, right? Which is, you're almost there with this. Okay, so that clear, defined destination, I'm going to help people moving. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do talks to people. And you actually created that clarity around where you want to end up, what you want to do. And then you voiced it. And so by voicing it and declaring it, you take that commitment to another level. And so you had no idea how. And I mean, this is perfect because when it's not, the how's not important. It's the how shows up. It's not for us to worry about. It's not our business. Our business is to decide on what it is and where we want to go, the destination, the outcome. All the people who talk about, all the people who achieve what they want, who've changed history, who've done things that were impossible at the time, have used this process that you've used, Kym. So I love that you've brought it up and talked about it, because and then you took action. And so, like you said, you've got to do something. Inspiration without action is merely entertainment. That's a quote by Mary Morrissey. And so, that's how it works. So there's a law of cause and effect, and it says our thoughts cause our feelings and emotions. So when you came up with that, you would have been super excited. You would have been probably elated. You would raised your energetic vibration as well. So our thoughts cause our feelings and emotions, which then cause the actions that we take, which causes our results. So that's the law of cause and effect.
You're so right. And the older you get and the more you experience life and gain wisdom and knowledge and surround yourself with the right people, call it a tribe or a group or like-minded or team, all those words, and you all want the same things and you're all going in the same direction. And look, when we get out of our comfort zone, like when we decided that we would expand our brand and go to the Sunshine Coast, it was like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute. I will be honest with you. And there were some really tough times. I mean, I've got down to $16.50 in my bank account before. And it's like, well, you work it out because you're resilient and you want that and you have that vision, but you don't always have the answers that day. So I know that that's really powerful stuff. And the more you do that, the more you achieve and tick off your goals and get to where you want to be.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I love that you talk about your discomfort. You know, in order to move forward out of mediocrity, because otherwise, if we're not striving for more and striving to become, you know, a better version of ourselves or have a better version of our life in some area, then we're living in mediocrity. You know, we're choosing the gray zone. And in order to move out of mediocrity, what's required is being willing to be uncomfortable. And like you say, not letting outside physical circumstances and conditions that are simply facts. Yes, the fact was your bank account got down very low. But the truth was that you were building a new business and that actually you had access to what you've got now. You know, we've all got access to abundance. So I love what you're doing. And
you know, it's easier. I understand why people give up. I'm not saying that you should take that path. I mean, have gone through periods where I felt like that myself. Like I said, you have your pity party, think, oh, do I ever give up? Yeah. But you just got to push through the barrier, as Dad would say, to get onto that next thing where you need to go and whatever that looks like for you. And success means different things for different people.
Absolutely.
And definitely when I went and walked, you know, the 4 best things I've done I've done many, many amazing things and I'm so grateful for meeting so many amazing people. But meeting my husband and having our daughter and then walking the Kokoda track and now my book and my favourite number is 4. These are the 4 massive best things I've done in my life. And by doing those things, it allowed me to do other things. So, you know, walking the Kokoda track was a huge, like you were saying before, it took me away there was, back then you didn't have access. Well, I made sure I turned my phone off so I could be in the moment and find out, you know, think different things and feel different things from the environment. And when I came back from that trip, I actually took about 6 months to settle back into life. Right. It was actually really challenging. So I didn't go off straight away and do the business. I just needed to, I suppose, get my ducks lined up and think more about my next moves. So it wasn't an instant. So I really want people to know that as well. I feel that by going to an environment like that, and I had been to other countries before, but not so remote. And so, I don't know, it's just, there was this, so many, I use the word aura, but there was just this power of something there, Karen. And so when you are in tune with that, it's, life-changing.
So do you think a combination of the connection with nature and some spiritual connection?
Oh, definitely. Yes, definitely.
It's one thing I haven't done.
We should do it. Girls just want to have fun. Hey, Mo and Karen, let's organise a Kokoda trip for us girls. It's hard. Look, I hadn't been running for 3 years before I signed up to do that. And look, after a couple of days, I thought to myself after walking, I thought, who signed me up for this? Yeah. But, you know, I had a vision and a goal to walk the track with my dad. So, you know, because he wanted to do it. And I didn't know that for years that he wanted to do it. It was just in a conversation. And I thought, well, he's got to go because he's not getting any younger. So I'll put my hand up. That's what I do. So I'll put my hand up, and then I go, oh. So to do the training, it's more, I feel, and you would know in life, it's more a lot of the mind.
Yes.
The mind, if the body's just willing and able some days to just put one foot in front of the other,
yes,
the mind's what is so powerful. So I know that's what got me through a lot of things. But yeah, we should do that too.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And you talked about your dad, and you said he sounds the most wonderful, wonderful man, and he sounds like he's given you some amazing beliefs and foundations for knowing that you can choose what you want to do and be successful. Tell us a bit more about that and the way that he has helped you through your life.
Well, both my parents actually are amazing human beings. My mum is a really strong woman as well. So I feel like for me, I've had the best of both worlds. So, and back in the day in a, traditional style removalist business, the dad be in the field and mum would be in the office. So I've had both sides of that. But yeah, really pretty much from a baby and nappy. So I would go in the truck with my dad and think back then things were happening. I mean, we didn't have technology back then. So you got to think, and you'd stop because there'd be an issue or something and the phone box in the little town would be all smashed and you couldn't ring anyone. So there was a lot of pivoting and adapting. And I can remember lots of things saying people relying on us. We can't just say, oh, we'll turn up next week. You might get a little bit delayed. And, like you might blow a tire or lots of just different logistical things would happen that these days we have technology or we have much more resources. So I found that I gained a lot of resilience around how to just think to navigate your way. And probably that's maybe one reason I coped well during COVID.
Yes.
Because it's a change and, my industry's changing. So, yeah, it's just, I think from a young age, he'd say some people days done, by the time they put their foot on the floor when they get out of bed. So even if you're having an ordinary day, just the mind can set you up for positive or negative. So I'm very grateful for that because not everyone has that start. But my mum, like I said, she's a really strong woman as well. And I still think, I don't know how they did it because when I look how I started my business with $50 in my bank account and I started on my own and I didn't have trucks to, worry about the logistics or staff because I'm a subcontractor based company. I honestly don't know. And I asked them, and Mum says, I don't know. Well, maybe that's the thing as well. I think they were very visionary. So Dad got a truck out of the wreckers. He couldn't even drive it. And people said, you won't do that. Well, 30 years they had a successful business. They're still in business. It's more along those of not thinking too much of the doing, Karen.
Yeah, it sounds like you're your father's daughter, your mother. Well, you're both parents. They sound amazing people. And like you say, you started your business. You don't know how they did it because you started it in a different way. However, the fact that you did do it and you didn't know how and you went on with it and now you've both, like he and you, your parents and you both have done this, is using a lot of this technology, not the new technology, but the technology I talk about that's available to us, and like you say, it's about what we decide and what we think and how we process that and then the action that we take that causes the rest of it. So I want to ask you also, so I'd love to meet your parents one day.
They are amazing people. Some people, like I say, people don't get parents, but there's other people you can utilise, outsource things to for similar help. But those early years of those tools and strategies and systems and processes are priceless, I feel.
And the values. When you said your dad said, these people are relying on us. We can't just let them down and say we've got a flat tire or the truck's broken down. And, that is what you grew up with. So you grew up. So, sometimes we grow up with beliefs that don't serve us, beliefs and values and things like that don't really serve us serve us moving forward. However, it's clear that you grew up with a lot of those beautiful values and beliefs that have helped you become the person you are today and to do that.
They showed me from a very young age, and I said this in my book, what real customer service looks like. Customer service, respect, value, appreciation, all those nice words of kindness that we sometimes might forget about, or maybe not showing it enough. So I don't know how to be any different.
And like you say, that's bringing actually the values and the way to treat people and the rest of your life into your business, which is what we want to do, right? Like, really, business is no different. It's we're working with people, and so we treat people in our business the same as we would treat our friends and families.
Well, even the cleaner at your workplace or in a public, like at the airport yesterday, the cleaner was cleaning, and I said, "Oh, thank you for cleaning the bathroom. It's all nice and it smells good."
Yes.
And the lady turned around, I felt like she was about to drop to the floor, and she said, "Oh, thank you. You've made my day."
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what role someone's playing. It's not hard. It's free and it's easy to be kind.
Yeah, and when it's the law of increase, praise. We say it's the law of praise. When you praise people, you increase things. And so we've got Jacquard from West Bengal. Hello, clinic. Yeah, hi. New person coming in. When you practice praise, and a good example of it is children. If you praise a child, you look at what they do. They light up, they stand up, they smile, and they want to do more. And so, by praising anybody in business or in life and giving compliments and respect and acknowledging what they're doing as being valuable, then you change, like you say, you change a person's experience for the day, and they want to do more. They want to do a better job. They want to be more helpful. So that's how it works, and people don't understand. Sometimes people don't understand that. It's so easy to change a person's perspective or change a person's level of happiness by acknowledging them and giving them a compliment or a thank you.
And setting intentions. It's not that you're wanting anything. It's just you have an opportunity to spread your sparkle wherever you go, anywhere, public toilet, supermarket, with work, and if it's a natural thing, and it actually feels good to do it.
Because it changes, like you say, your feelings, your emotions. You're giving, and yet you give to receive. Like you get back that wonderful interaction, and that seeing that person feeling so good, and so you actually, like you say, you receive back from giving a compliment. So I want to ask you too, now that you've released your book and you've started doing these talks, I asked you this question last time. I'm going to ask it again to see if anything's changed. What do you believe is the most important thing in business for you now, moving forward?
Great question, Karen. Well, the feedback from my book has been amazing, and particularly with comments like, what I mentioned about the lady before that read it and then said, "Oh, gee, I need to book," or it's then people taking action. So for me to actually put out a resource and a tool that's going to help people's life, and it will save them time, save them money, save them sanity, and reduce stress. For me, that's like a huge impact. So going forward, to just keep continuing to, the removals industry is a tough industry, and it is still heavily dominated, unfortunately, by a lot of alpha males. And, I've experienced something myself recently with bullying. We just got to call it out and just keep sharing. I get to work with amazing removalists, so I'm really grateful for that. But keep sharing to people that they can have a great moving experience and it can be easy. They just need the right help and they need the right information. And that's, communication is key, I feel, to a lot of things in life. So just keep sharing that and going onto my path, because this has given me a great platform to be able to help people by doing this book. So it's opened up a lot more opportunities, and people said that it would, and that's ticking it off. So yes.
So would it be correct for me to say that you want to touch people's lives? You want to help more people, and your book is going to, because not like you say, not everyone is going to come to you to do the actual, to handle the project of moving. However, reading your book is going to give them so much help that they wouldn't, and be able to organize things in a way that will be so helpful for their move in any case, whether they use you or not.
Oh, definitely. So this book is for people if they would like to DIY or engage a professional like the Moving Angel or another removal company. There's, tips and tricks in there that everyone will get some value from, whether you're moving home or office. So, no, not everyone wants a moving angel.
Yes. Well, not everyone can have you anyway. I mean, if they're in another country at the moment, they can't book you. So so really you're going to make a difference in people's lives, more people's lives than you can right now with that. Well, than you could say before you released your book.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And when I worked in the corporate world, one of my roles after many years was in the call centre taking calls. It was a 24-hour service, and it was mostly women calling about what they didn't like about the removals industry. And it was a really negative environment. But that's how I've created my business and now my book, because I listened to people what they didn't like. So there was a need there for people, and I've listened over many years and filled the need for people. And I feel that it's a positive outcome for my industry. And, I know, like someone yesterday about current affair, there's stories all the time. Every industry has its good and bad eggs, and that's great. It's always going to be like that. But I feel this is a really positive outcome for people when they're feeling really stressed and overwhelmed of being able to do it the easy way. That's why I called it Moving Made Easy. And people say, why would you do that? I feel that a lot of things in life can be easier. We just need to get the right communication, and we need the right help. I feel they are two really powerful alternatives.
Say that last sentence again. We just had a momentary freeze of the internet. You said the right
communication and the right help with anything we were doing, whether that's moving or, buying a product. We just need, because Mr. and Mrs. Google's great. It's got a lot of information out there, but is it the right information, and does it align with your values and where you're going and what sort of services you're looking for? So, communication and the right help is definitely priceless information for people.
That's great. Another question, Kym. If you were giving mentoring, or someone came to you for advice about writing their own book on whatever, whether it would be on their business or whether it would be on their life, or whatever they wanted to write their book on, what would be your advice and your tips and your secret formula to get it to where you've got yours now to be published and launched?
That's another interesting question, Karen.
I know, sorry, I didn't give you any prep for this. This is
that's I love
one gold nugget that you could say, look, this will make a difference if you this is my learning or whatever.
You need the right team, and I used Ocean Reef Publishing, and my publishing coordinator was Sarah, and she was sensational. You need the right people in your corner, because even myself taking on, I think, this is taken on a bit more than I can chew here, but that can often happen during life. So you need the right team. And when you're having doubts, should I be doing this or shouldn't I? You just need to keep believing in yourself and going forward, because there's no point saying, I want to do this, but then you never do it. So you don't want to be, as there's a saying that there's that many stories that die with people because they never publish them. So, I keep going back to team and surrounding yourself with the right people to take you on the journey. Well, that's what's helped me. So and if you don't know something, ask. Like I messaged you last week because you'd mentioned this fabulous tool that we can use. And what did Karen say? I just reached out to you. And then all of a sudden you get the information. Asking for help, and I was not always good at this either, asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. And unfortunately, society has led us to believe that we shouldn't ask for help, or we don't show our emotions, or this sort of status quo. No, I'm always asking people for help now. I love it. And you know what? The other thing I'm finding is people love to help. They love to share their wisdom and knowledge with you, or their tools or strategies or systems or processes. They like helping. And the ones that don't, then they're not your kind of people.
Yes.
And you just need to, like I was saying, some people come into our life for a reason and others leave for a reason. And we need to acknowledge that too and set your intentions with that, because there are a lot of dream takers out there. And look, I know when I started my business, and even when I wanted to branch my branch to the Sunshine Coast, and I won't read it all because it's in the book and I'd rather people there. But, contractors said, you won't do it, or it'll never happen. Well, hello, I'm celebrating 10 years this year in business.
And that's a really important point, Kym, is that we have names for things like that. We have the tall poppy syndrome, and it's very prevalent in this part of the world, but I believe it's just as prevalent in the United States, where, as you say, someone says, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to grow this business or create this business or, do this. And then people say, oh, you'll never do it, or I know someone who tried that and they failed, or that's not a very good, that's not a very good way to build your business or build your success, or that's very difficult, that's really hard to do, all of those things. And if everybody listened to every negative comment that was thrown at them when they came up with an idea that they voiced, then we'd never have anything in our lives right now, and most people would not try anything. And so it's important to understand that, no, you said, I'm doing this. You made that decision, and then you took action to do it, and you didn't worry about what those dream breakers, dream smashers, said, because they didn't exist as far as you were concerned.
No, and I feel too, at times there's certain things don't talk to people about. Like I call it my circle of trust.
Yeah.
And that's a very tight circle, and they're the people that, and I'm so grateful. So in my life would say, and it's okay. It's like if you go shopping, say with a girlfriend, and they're a really close circle, and you put something on and they say, oh, Kym, you could look better in something else. That looks better. Rather than say, oh, yeah, that looks good. You want people to be honest. You want them to be authentic. And so that's why I feel too, I've definitely over the last decade, be careful who you discuss things with, because, and we do, I know myself, sometimes people say something and like it can be getting your mind only for a short moment. So I feel that's good advice too. Be careful who you talk about your dream. And look, if you do a book or you do a business, and because it's your journey, not everyone else's journey, it's your life, live it how you want. That's the other thing people should go for as well. Life's too short, and if you want to do something, like when I wanted to write this book, my dad said, oh, well, go for it, because then you can tick it off your list. And that's what I say. And my mum was a little different. My mum was a little more conservative, and knowing what she knows about the culture of the removals industry, I feel she was more wanting to protect me, and I'm grateful for her. She said, oh, I'm not sure you should be the face of, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I'm going to be brave, hence I'm being brave and done it. So, and it's not a naming or shaming book or anything like that. I never would. That's not my style. So, you've got to, like I said, back yourself. Your gut's so powerful. It will send you messages. Yes. So sometimes don't discuss it with friends or family, because as we know, a lot of the percentage of population will just sit on the comfy couch at home and sit in their same job, and they continue to complain about the same things. They never
Yes.
take action. So they never want you to fulfill your dreams and tick it off your list because they want you to be like them, and we're
Yes.
not all the same. So that's one thing I've really learned to be really careful about. So I think when you find that circle, that's priceless too.
You are so wise, Kym. You have brought up so many gold nuggets and pearls of wisdom today, just talking. And that is another one. It's like we also say, have your partners in believing, and we say exactly that. We say, be really careful who you share your dream with. And that's what you've just said, because you're so right. And you're right for so many reasons. It doesn't matter why people will smash your dream. It could be like you say, that they're not going to do what they're not going to do anything with their life, and it seems intimidating for someone like you to be doing what you want. It could be that they have some belief around it affecting you, or you'll fail and they're trying to protect you. It doesn't matter what it is, but you're so right. Be careful who you share it with, and make sure it's someone who believes in you or who is an expert. That's the other thing. People go to people and share something and ask for advice from someone who knows nothing about that particular area. Like, you wouldn't go to your mechanic and ask them to diagnose what's wrong with your heart, and so people, you're so right. I was out with Moana Robinson the other day. We were doing a girls shopping thing, and I put something on and asked her a question, and she said, you would look better with this, or you look better with that. And that's because she's an expert in that area of personal styling. And I was grateful for that, and you wouldn't take someone who doesn't know about that and ask them for advice on personal styling and dressing, unless you an answer that would, like you say, some people will say the people in the shops who are trying to sell those clothes will say, oh yeah, that's a great color on you, it's really beautiful, look at it, or style. And they're not an expert in that area like Moana is. So Moana Robinson is watching us, and she is an amazing personal stylist. Just so much expertise in that area. She has honed her skill like you would not believe. And we gave Sumi a plug the other day, and we're giving Moana one today. So you have been amazing. You have shared so many important points for people and entrepreneurs and business people, and even people in life who want to experience that next level, people who want to take a part of their life, whether it's their business or anything else, to that next level. Kym, I thank you again for coming on and being willing to talk about your experiences and share your growth and your achievements and what you've done. And I congratulate you on releasing your new book and getting it out there, and then doing those other talks that you're doing now to help people to understand some of the life-changing ways of being that you have learned and developed over the years. You're very, very wise. Your level of awareness is amazing for someone who hasn't done, you have done work. You've read a lot of books, and you've done personal development, haven't you?
I have, and don't worry, I've had some challenges, like going through 3 miscarriages, and at times, financial things, and if you don't have the answers, you help, or there's someone out there, there's an expert, like I touched on earlier with you, Karen, hypnosis. I remember having hypnosis before I had Georgia, because a lot of people, oh, how are you going? And they just put all those negative things, in your mind. So the hypnosis was amazing. I still at times now reflect back on that experience in my time, and I only had 1 session because I went into labour. But my goodness, over that 24 hours, that helped my mind to deliver I was still painful, but it stopped me from saying yes to an epidural unless my life was, or our baby's life was at risk. So the mind is such a powerful tool. I don't feel that people are using it to its full potential, because unfortunately a lot of noise, whichever, from external people telling them they can't. So that's why I say don't let your past define your future. I'm living proof of that. So yes, a little country girl who left school at 15 with minimal education to start a business and write a book has been absolutely remarkable, really. But there's been a lot of people to help me along the way. So it's not just myself, but continually looking at growth, but also to help people. When you've been born with a special gift, then I feel that you wouldn't be doing the rest of the world justice to keep it all hidden in, Karen, and not go to your full potential.
That's true too. That is so true. And we've all got a special gift, you know, and it's about finding what that is, finding our passion and finding our own genius, our own level of genius, and then going for it. And like you say, sharing it with the world. We're all here with a job to do. We've all got some
Find your
job.
why. When you find your why, that's when you really become to go towards your peak and find where you really want to go and what you want to do.
Well, it's time. I'm just going to say a couple of comments here. We've got Sumi says, Kym is such a kind and supportive person.
Thank you, Sumi. You are too.
And Mo says, sounds good to me. You were talking about something in particular then. I can't remember what it was, but Mo had commenting on that. So I'm going to wrap it up now. We've had a wonderful, wonderful discussion. And like I say, I really value the points that you've brought up for people. Amazing, amazing. So, Kym, how can people buy your book? How can people get in touch with you if they're moving or if they simply want some help or information around getting your book or places people to move them? Or it's all in your book, isn't it? Yeah.
So it's Moving Made Easy is the name, and you can purchase books from our website, which is really easy to do, or come to an event. The Gold Coast one, or Brisbane's tomorrow night, and Gold Coast is going to be fabulous as we've got our pink and black theme happening. Or just on socials, LinkedIn, Facebook.
So what's your website, Kym?
It's www.movingmadeeasy.net.au. So
.net.au. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll pop those details up on the post afterwards, and then people can see it, and people can reach out to you from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. You're an amazing lady as well, sharing your sparkle around the world. So just when you're like-minded and a kindred spirit that get the whole, it's really powerful, isn't it? So
isn't it? Thank you so much for coming on today, Kym, and thanks everyone for watching.
Have a wonderful Wednesday.
Thank you, and I'll just end the